And now, it's that time of the week once again. Welcome to the Departure Lounge podcast with your hosts, Tom Whittle and Steve Wooldridge. Your ticket to the home of aviation podcasts. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the flight.
Might help if I put myself on the screen. Hi, everybody. How's it going? Welcome, everybody, to episode number 32 of the Departure Lounge podcast here on the Departure Lounge YouTube channel and, of course, on Spotify as well. Tonight, we are only live on YouTube as we host a live Q&A. So any questions that you have for us, whether they're aviation-related or not, do get them in to us. And of course, we will be answering them throughout the show. My name is Tom Whittle, and joining me this evening from his house in Dorset is not there, Steve Wooldridge. Steve, good evening to you. How are you?
Hiya, Tom. Hi, everyone at home and during the week catching up. Yeah, really good, thank you. And it comes around quick, doesn't it? Every Sunday, it seems to be here before you know it. So another show to look forward to tonight, yes, definitely.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, we're on episode 32 now, so this has been going for a long time, and it's it's going well so far. So it's good fun, and like I say, tonight is going to be a bit more of a relaxing show because we are here to answer questions, aren't we?
Yeah, no, they're good fun, and obviously we're going to vet anything too stupid or controversial, but it would be nice to answer your questions. That's for sure.
Quite literally anything. We've spoken about it before, and we were sort of we were saying to ourselves, we're pretty much open to anything at this point. Pretty much open to anything at this point in terms of questions. So it should be a lot of fun. Also, we'll be talking about aviation news as well throughout the week as well. So should be a good show this evening. However, the trio is not complete, of course, without the man himself, which is Ian Hartley.
Good evening, guys.
Caught him off guard. There you go. I'm just going to arrange this because that's not how it should be done. There we go. How are you?
Yeah, very good. I'm very good, thanks, Tom. Yourself?
Not too bad. Not too bad at all.
You right, Steve?
Yeah, all good, Ian. I hope you're better than your fishing efforts yesterday, anyhow.
Not very good yesterday, Steve, but I have got photographs of the 3 o'clock on Thursday.
Well, that's yesterday's news. It's all chip paper.
Yeah, true enough, yeah.
Brilliant. Yeah. Let's go over some housekeeping then before we go into tonight's show. So as you can see on the bottom of the screen, also in the description below, you can find us on any of our social medias, whether it is Instagram, Discord, Twitter, Spotify, or Facebook. Do subscribe or follow or whatever it is you do on those to keep up to date with what we're doing. There's a lot to come from us, which we'll be discussing towards the end of the show. It's the only way you can sort of keep in touch with us as well. We'll also, throughout the show, give the social medias of Ian and Steve. Done it correctly that time. That was
You're getting used to it now, look.
Yeah, Christ. It's only been a week. But no, throughout the evening, we're doing the social medias of Ian and Steve to, obviously, if you want to follow them as well. As you said, we are on Spotify. So if you want to listen to this show back and take us anywhere you want to, as well as the other 31 episodes prior to this one tonight, do feel free to click on the link in the description below and give the podcast a like and take us wherever you like. And of course, lastly, if you wish to become a guest on the show at any point, feel free to message us on said social medias in order to be a guest on the show. We're happy to have anybody on if they fancy coming on, just talking absolute nonsense about aviation for about an hour or so. So yeah, do come on and give us a shout if you wish to come onto the show. Also, lastly, this week is your last week to pick up your Pride T-shirts. I have a microphone in the way, so I have to do that. But yes, this is your last week to pick up. Last week to pick up your Pride T-shirts because once next Sunday hits. It will be the last time you can buy them, and they won't be on the store for much longer. So do go and get those. Right, Ian, some comments that have come in if you'd like to read.
Yep. So we've got Michael Barrett who's joining us tonight. Good evening, guys. Good evening to you, Michael.
Wonderful.
Grey Blues commented, nice top guys, fish.
Fish.
Yeah.
Is that another like
Yeah.
down with the cool kids word, is it?
Yeah, it must be. Yeah, it must be like hot or whatever it is. She said last week. What were it?
Fire.
Yeah,
That's it. Fire.
Yeah, and it looks like we've got a German in the house as well, Ricky Grimshaw. Ricky Grimshaw there, saying bonjour.
Goodness me.
German, Ian, are you sure?
Yeah.
Absolutely positive, yeah. Yeah.
I want to say he's joking.
Yeah.
Thank God for that.
He's French then. Yeah.
I'm not going to say it because I upset the North last week, so I'm just going to
start upsetting Europeans as well, Steve.
No,
I was just going to say. I was just going to say you barely speak English, so you had a good go at it. To be fair.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah. That's it. I think the departure lounge is going to be a rogue state, isn't it? By the time Steve's finished, in America's hit list.
Yeah, there goes some more German for you there, Ian.
Yeah.
Very good. Very good.
Bien.
Very good. But big welcome to everybody. We are going to be literally here to answer any questions you have in regards to, like I say, future of the podcast, or I don't know, quite literally anything. We're open to the weirdest of questions if you really fancy it. So whilst we wait to do that, we're going to jump into some sort of news that we've been accustomed to for this week. Firstly, we mentioned last week that Swiss Air. So I say Swiss Air. I don't know why that's on my mind because wrong information. But the Swiss Airlines Swiss are rumoured to be favouring the A350 over the 787. Now, we mentioned last week that they were retiring the A340 in favour of the A350 or the 787, and we were debating which one it would be. And Sam Shui has reported that it looks like the A350 wins sort of the battle of the bids. 22 are rumoured to be joining, which will kind of cover the sort of the fleet of the A340s. And of course, it's an aircraft that is familiar with the Lufthansa group, as Lufthansa themselves do have it. So I think some that are on order for Lufthansa will go over to Swiss. But for us, I suppose it's no surprise that they've picked the A350.
Absolutely, but they currently use all Airbus fleets, and going back a few episodes, I believe Johnny alluded to the fact if you can fly a 319, you can fly a 380. It's pretty much the same thing going on the cockpit, just with a few extra switches and that. So they've saved themselves a lot of money not having to retrain pilots on getting them up to Boeing spec and what have you. So it makes sense, doesn't it? And it will be a seamless sort of handover compared to them trying to learn about the Boeing Dreamliner controls and what have you.
Absolutely. Ian, like I said, no surprise really, considering the aircraft is very familiar in the Lufthansa group.
Of course it is as well, and they're buying from a European country as well, aren't they, rather than buying from Americans? So
yeah,
that's probably swayed the decision as well, to be quite honest. It's good news for them. Let's just hope the 350s are okay.
I imagine they would be. I did sort of read up on this story sort of prior to coming onto the live this evening, and it's a perfect fit for Swiss, because the aircraft sort of allows sort of additional width for what they're used to already, in order to sort of install the first class product that they have on board, sort of like they say the 777 and stuff. And they'll probably then chuck that onto the A350 as well. So it gives them a bit more, because the A340 fuselage is not as big as as a 350 and stuff. So it allows them to kind of have a bit more room and a bit more space to kind of kind of play with, if you want to put it that way.
Yeah, it's a nice natural progression from the 340 to the 350, and it just makes sense, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think the seating arrangement's reasonably. It's very similar, isn't it? The seating capacity and things like that. So, if not a little bit better in the 350, so they'll provide a good product, won't they? Definitely.
Well, that's it. Yeah. The rumor is that they are slated to join the airline in the first half of 2022, so that is next year, and it will strengthen the 5-star airlines premium offering, obviously coming over from the Lufthansa group. So, be interesting to see what they do with the 350s and where they would deploy them, and whether they would need to do any sort of I don't want to call it like a familiarization flights with the crew. Whether they just jump from, like, say, 330 and stuff, from 340, and then it's 350. Whether they need to do that or not, and whether they send them on short haul to begin with, and then go off to, places elsewhere, sort of thing.
Heathrow could be the obvious choice, because they're already sort of doing it with the 330s and 340s. So it stands to reason that Heathrow might be a good place to go from Geneva or whatever. It's only an hour and a little bit flight.
I believe so, something like that.
Maybe, yeah, the absolutely perfect candidate, I'd imagine, would be Heathrow, and maybe Paris, that sort of thing. And then it's just an hour, isn't it? And they can get used to what's what, like, the differences between, well, from the captain all the way back to cabin crew, and the loading staff on the ground, and that gives them a chance to get everything acclimatized before they sort of push them out transatlantic, or whatever they want to do with them, sort of once they've got up to speed with it.
Absolutely. So definitely good news for Swiss to go down the route of the A350. So definitely good. We will. I've seen what you're chuckling at, so we'll bring it up on the screen there. Ian, if you'd like to give that a read.
I will do. Yeah, just a quick good evening to Rob Brown, playing spotting as well. He's in the house, sort of thing. So good evening to you, Rob. Steve, as someone that's known you for 14 years, can you sign my podcast baseball cap now that you're famous? Up the cherries.
For someone who knows me for 14 years, he hasn't actually got my phone number, but I would.
Fantastic.
I will sign your hat, Ricky. That's not a problem. I'll even address it to you as well. I'm good like that.
Fantastic. Yeah, don't forget there are more than one of us, so just not all of us.
Send it round. Everyone will sign it, and we'll send it back to you.
Yeah. Well, maybe, because I didn't get considered, so I might just not bother.
I'm not going to bother either.
I'll fake their watergrass, Ricky. You'll be fine.
Next sort of thing we want to kind of go into, and we'll probably spend a bit of time on this one, just because today is a sort of a very recognisable day in terms of the history of Concorde. So Rob Brown pointing out, obviously getting nostalgic today, because Concorde last flew 18 years ago today after 27 years of service. And he still remembers it playing touch and go at Prestwick. Of course, today is the last day that, back in 2003, that Concorde flew. I'll get the graphic up there. And it was a massively sad day. I think we mentioned this probably on a few of these shows, actually. But I was young enough at the time. I think I was about 11 at this point. And I was lucky enough to get down to Heathrow. I think I left school early, got down to Heathrow, and actually saw all three come in. And the turnout for it was unlike anything I've ever seen before. It's like for those that sort of know Heathrow and know the spotting at like Heathrow for like I think they came on 27 right. So you have like the perimeter road around, which leads you to like the hotels like the Sheraton and off to the Thistle and that. But right around that sort of perimeter, it was chocker. They had to close the roads and stuff. There was a huge crowd of people. You can find images of the crowds that were there at the time. and things like that. And it was a very sad moment, but one of those ones that you could sort of look back on and go, I was there. And it was, yeah, it was really sad. There was a lot of people that were crying, and there were probably those that weren't like aviation enthusiasts or anything, but Concorde was that popular with everybody that you didn't have to be an av geek to know what Concorde was and what role it played right up until retirement, like I say, back in 2003. So, so we'll spend a bit of time on talking about Concorde and things like that as well. So, what memories do we have of Concorde, if any?
Yeah, well, I think it's unfortunate because if what happened in Paris hadn't have happened, I still think the days were numbered, weren't they? It was becoming uneconomical to fly and all that, and it was to preserve the rich and the famous. So it was probably on borrowed time. But I said a few weeks ago that one of my first ever aviation memories was actually sitting in my godmother's parents' garden and seeing the Concorde fly over, and it was always 6 o'clock. It either came in or went out on an evening, something around that. And I couldn't have been much more than, don't know, 5 or 6, but I can still sort of see it in my mind and that. And the day Concorde went, it put aviation back decades. Like to be able to get to New York in 3 hours and what have you. Hopefully, with the news coming out of United, those days will be back with us shortly. But to say Concorde's iconic is an understatement because, like you say, you could show it to anyone pretty much in the world, and they'd be able to tell you exactly what that aircraft is without being a fan of aviation. So
Yeah,
that tells
I remember the sort of the scheduling for it. So you'd have one flight go out in the morning, and then you'd see it come back later on in the day. And it was always it was one of those very surreal things because you knew where it was going. And where I lived in London was right by what they call the Ockham Hold, which is sort of between the areas of Heathrow and Gatwick, for like planes to hold before turning over central London. And even if you were sat and you weren't looking outside, you could always hear Concorde when it was in. And when it was in the hold, it was still a sight to be witnessed because you knew it was coming back from a place where it probably shouldn't have been at that time because of how quick it was and how it was an aircraft that was so ahead of its time that unfortunately now you could probably make Concorde into a bit more sort of an eco-friendly aircraft sort of thing, but because of the time that it came out, it was, like I say, way too ahead of its time. I mean, you could do an entire sort of segment on aircraft that were well ahead of its time, and there are many you can mention. But like you would always know when Concorde was on, like coming in, or it would go out sort of early in the morning, and then come back in, and then go straight back out 6 o'clock and that. But you would always hear it rumble first, and that gave you plenty of time to stop what you were doing and run into the back garden. Especially where I living on the sort of 09 right departures and stuff. Excuse me.
Well, you think the Concorde predates the internet as we know it now. So if you had a meeting in New York and to tie up ends, you had to actually go to New York.
Yeah.
And the Concorde offered you the ability to go there, have a decent length meeting, and be back in London for tea time.
Absolutely.
Absolutely outstanding.
I'll always remember the last sort of departure from Heathrow because like I said, I was young at the time, big fan of Concorde and that, and like I say, you heard it rumble and it made the news and stuff. It was literally on national news that Concorde was taken off for the final time to carry its last passengers from Heathrow, and you could see it spooling up whilst hearing it like from the other from where I lived, and you could see it going. You see it on the TV, but hear it, and then you go. As soon as it started to lift, you're like, "Get out in the garden, quick!"
Yeah.
And then you got out in the garden, and it was full afterburner. It was it as it would do. Bank off immediately, set off like loads of alarms and things like that. And it was a really like touching sort of moment that you weren't going to see that again.
It's the
And
same
it's
with the
something
one.
you would get
Sorry.
accustomed to. It's something you would get accustomed to through, like say, like living near the airport and stuff. You're always accustomed to seeing it come in and hearing it go out, and then for one day that noise to be taken away, it's a massive difference. It's a massive difference to how aviation was back then. And like I say, with the crash, obviously that happened, and other things, of course, like fuel, the amount of money it took to actually to operate one of these Concords as well. It was a loss making aircraft. I don't unless someone will correct me, but I'm fairly certain I don't think it was very profitable at all to run Concorde. But to do it for 27 years, it's a testament to what kind of aircraft it was, and just how much faith the airlines had. Although there was two, obviously British Airways and Air France, but it was a testament to just how much faith they had right up until its retirement.
I think they had the sort of experience flights, didn't they? And they weren't mad keen on it, were they? Because they said that it were going to lose the sort of prestigiousness of flying on Concorde and things like that. But I think up to that point when it was a loss-making plane, I think when they started doing the experience flights, I think that's when it started actually. I think them flights actually started making profit, didn't they?
Yeah, so I think that at that time, like I said, as you mentioned, the prestige of it would have been just, I think, lost if you just give it out willy nilly to anybody.
Absolutely.
There we go. There's my moment.
Hey.
There's my moment. I knew it was coming. You've done it earlier. You've done
it
it earlier.
bothers me greatly that the Concorde at Heathrow is being essentially left to rot. Like, it deserves more respect than what it's being shown at Heathrow. But who is it? Rob Brown popped in to say about East Fortune and the Concorde there. I was fortunate enough to go, 3 years ago now. The whole museum is absolutely outstanding, like from start to finish. But the Concorde in particular is so good. So you're lucky to have it sort of on your doorstep. It's probably my favourite museum I've ever been to be quite honest.
I mean, the one at Concorde, they actually built a hangar over it, didn't they? And put it in, sort of built a hangar for the one at Manchester Airport, and that's just sat in its own space, and you can go and have tours and things like that there on the viewing park, and it's it's a good tourist attraction. And like you say, the one at London, it's just being left to rot, isn't it? Even like undercarriage will be rusty now, won't it? I would imagine.
Yeah, it probably would be.
But full of water and that, yeah.
Yeah, nobody likes a bad undercarriage, but the aircraft is left there. I mean, you see the pictures and stuff. It is left in a bad state. So I think a lot of people are sort of slightly offended by it because of the way that it's just being left to kind of fade, and like you see pictures on the inside of it just being used as.
It's used for storage, I think, isn't it?
Pretty much storage, pretty much storage.
Paperwork and things like that. Yeah, it's an absolute.
That's it. So it really is. No, it is. It's a shame that Heathrow haven't done anything to kind of preserve it because of what it is. Whereas, like say, you got ones in Manchester, ones up like the one in New York as well, and things like that are. They're being well looked after because
they're being preserved, aren't they? Yeah,
and preserved. Where this one's just sort of left out because it's a gate guardian, isn't it? That's essentially what its role is. It's a gate guardian. So, but
there'll come a time when it's looking unsightly. I mean, we used to have a Vulcan up at Blackpool Airport, and that was the gate guardian there. And there came a point where they just said it's absolutely hanging and get rid of it, sort of thing. And I don't know who bought it, but they sold it on anyway. I don't know where it is or what happened to it, but that was a massive loss when we lost that up there.
It's a shame if they don't give it an undercarriage makeover just to keep it going a bit longer and sort of maybe stick it on the roundabouts nearby or something like they have with that 380.
Yeah, with the Etihad 380. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Grey Blue says that she wasn't even alive then, so obviously missing out on the chance to sort of witness, having the privilege of witnessing Concorde in flight and things like that.
She wouldn't have seen Concorde at all. You've seen the one at Manchester, though, haven't you? Yeah, she's seen the one in Manchester in hangar there. So
would she not have been on Snapchat anyway, Ian?
I beg your pardon.
Would she not have been on Snapchat anyway?
No, she actually saw that once. She used to actually use my binoculars and actually used to watch them, and then I don't know, just got bored of it. A bit like fishing as well. So I mean, I only ever seen it fly once myself up here, and that was on a BAC as it was then when they used to have the family days. One down at Salisbury, it did a flyover, and that was going back. Good God. 30 years ago, no, probably more than that, 30 odd years ago. Yeah, it's going back that, and that's the only time. But I can still see it vividly. If you shut my eyes and try and remember, I can still see it vividly flying over, and that's the only time I ever saw it, and that just that once.
We actually had one into Bournemouth in 1999, and it was the official opening of the runway extension. And I think it went down to Nice and came back in sort of half an hour kind of thing, and took off and landed. But there's photos on like these Facebook groups, and the whole roads are absolutely lined with people and what have you.
Yeah. Fun fact from Marco Barrett saying Concorde will use the same amount of fuel as the average car does in 6 months just to taxi to the runway at Paris Charles de Gaulle Airport. So that will tell you just how much, how sort of fuel, how much its fuel consumption was as an aircraft and things like that. Especially being on full afterburn and stuff, it will use a lot of fuel. Hence why that's why you'd end up having to power back once. The thing with Concorde is, and I watched a fascinating video on the Russian equivalent, which was Concorde obviously had the ability to sustain supersonic flight without its afterburners, which ultimately is why it killed off the Russian version and stopped anything from happening with the American version. The what was, I think, the Boeing 2707, I think they called it at the time. So to be able to say it was an aircraft that was well ahead of its time, and it would probably fit in now. Like nowadays, if you were to release it now, at least it would fit in. And we got the Boom Overture, I think it is they call it from them, and United have committed to it, and I think there's a couple of other airlines as well. I think obviously Richard Branson himself was looking into it for Virgin as well.
Well, it goes the price of fuel and what have you. It was a sign of the time, so they had to
definitely
be packed in.
I mean, it would now at £1.48 a litre and all that.
Wounded. Yeah, Robin so-and-sos.
Aren't they just there? I think next week's podcast can be car sales, and I'll put mine up first. So we can see you selling our cars.
Well, we'll give it a go. Rob Brown Plane Spotting says they repainted one in Pepsi colours for some PR stunt, but had a problem because the blue paint peeled off when it went supersonic. Which is, the fuselage expanded. I can't remember how long the number 7 comes to mind. I can't think what it is, but it is 7 something in terms of the extension of the fuselage when it was overheating because of the fact that it was going supersonic, and then obviously it would compress back down once it was sort of cooled off and stuff. So to paint an aircraft like that and have that paint stretch, it's we're just going to talk amongst ourselves whilst Ian finds out how.
Yeah, I was just going to say talk amongst yourselves, and I'll quickly Google it.
But no, it's I think it's an aircraft that obviously is still very well missed by a lot of people, and I think a lot of by a lot of people that
7 inches, yeah, it was 17.8 centimeters. It expanded.
That's it. Yeah, I knew a 7 was in there somewhere.
Yeah, 7 inches,
yeah, so that's fine. But it's an aircraft that, like I say, is missed by a lot of people, and it's also, a shame that not a lot of people really got to experience just what the feeling of Concorde passing over looked like, sort of thing. I won't mention what it looked like Steve was drinking then, but
you're welcome to say what you like.
It just looked like someone had passed a stone or something.
What, in my drink?
No, it's all right. Right, yeah, like I said, do obviously get some questions in for us. We are here to answer anything. Don't be afraid to ask us anything you like. We're not going to tell you don't ask that, etc. You can ask anything about Any
Anything.
topic you like, doesn't have to be aviation related. If you want to test us on anything, go for it. That's what we're here for this evening. Right, the next sort of little topic, and we're going to sort of hand this over to Ian because Ian's got a lot of he's done his research into this one, and it's basically about the Qatar A350s. I'll just change the graphic. I've just realised I didn't put the graphic up there. But basically, Ian's done some research on some rusty fuselages, and he's about to give us some more information on the Qatar A350 ones. Take it away.
Yeah, I think since like the last update, there's not been really much said about it. But I had a Google around today and had a little bit of a look around. I'll have to put my bins on for this. It's actually written down on paper, so let's put my bins on. So Qatar had to ground 16 of its A350s because of deterioration of the paint. We all know that, don't we? And it had caused cracks in what they're calling the stressed surfaces, I would imagine. So it's got, I would say, wing edges and things like that. It's been causing cracks. And it was when it was the first A350 900, which was, I think it was 9 years old. Which was the oldest one in the fleet, which is the first one they got, obviously, and they were repainting it for the World Cup, and it was them they noticed that there were these cracks in the composites in it, and they're also saying that it was affecting. I've got it written down somewhere here. It's a problem with the paint that has led us to getting deterioration on the lightning protection of the fuselage and cracks appearing in the composite. Al Baker's been quoting this, who's the CEO of Qatar Airlines there, and that's why they grounded these planes. Now, the European safety aviation people, I think they call themselves. I've got that written down somewhere as well. And I had it.
It's always good to prepare your notes and actually.
Well, I have actually got it prepared. I've got it all highlighted as well, all the bullet points and things like that. The EASA, which is the European Union Aviation Safety Agency, have evaluated these planes, and they've said that there's no problem. And there is a problem, but the airworthiness of the actual aircraft hasn't been affected. Now, I've been reading a lot of comments and things about it as well, and people are starting to say now that once these planes have been grounded, now this is just hearsay and things like that, there's no factual evidence in it. Once these planes have been grounded and they wanted to repaint and they've noticed this deterioration of the paint, they've grounded this amount of aircraft because Airbus are having to pay for it while they're on the ground. So they've grounded these planes during COVID and God knows what else. And while they're sat idle, Airbus are actually paying for it. And that's what they're saying. Now, there's also another issue that Airbus are about to start pushing sales for the A350 freighter. Now, Qatar Airlines, they've actually committed to, I think it's about 50 of these 350 freighters, but they have currently said that they will not spend another penny at Airbus until this paint has been sorted out. Now, and what it's looking like is, just tap my paperwork, like.
Go on, Trevor.
Sir Trevor McDonald there.
That's it.
So what it's looking like is that when these planes were originally painted, Airbus never painted them. They must have gone to a third party to be painted. And this particular batch of planes had some dodgy top coat on it because it's only the top coat that's been affected. And that's pretty much where they're up to now. So Airbus are still saying, oh, no, there's nothing wrong with it. We can repaint them and they'll be safe to fly. But Qatar Airlines are saying, no, the Qatari Safety Board have said they're not going anywhere until this issue has been resolved properly. So they're sort of oohing and ahhing who's to blame and this, that and the other. But the saga rumbles on.
It's an interesting one because for it to kind of go on a little bit longer than it needed, well, at least for me, needs to, because of, like I say, the fact that it's harming Qatar's sort of fleet at the minute, and they're having to sort of hold fire on the retirements of the A330s, which have been doing the rounds of UK airports and things like that with no titles on, because they were supposed to be, gone by now and replaced by the 350s and stuff. You'd have thought that maybe there'd be something that would sort of, they might find a solution to fix the rusty fuselages and stuff, whether they have to probe it or not. So. Yeah, you'd have thought by now they would have maybe come up with a solution to try and rectify
absolutely
what they've been doing.
Yeah,
well, isn't it? Like it goes back not just weeks; it's into months now.
I think it was January this year when they first started grounding them. The first one.
There you go. It's a good while, isn't it?
It's a long time. Now, it's a very long time.
Yeah. And it was the Al. What was he called again?
Al Bakr.
Yeah, but it actually said that the A380 was a waste of money. It'll never fly again. They'll never fly them again. And now they're having to wipe all the dust off them and put them all back up in the air, aren't they?
Yeah, that's the thing, because it obviously like I said, the downfall of it is the fact that the A330s are still flying, and for them,
absolutely,
it's not as economical as a 350, and that's why obviously Qatar bought a boatload of them to be more economical and stuff. So they've had to go back to these the 330 aircraft that, like I said, was supposed to be on their way out, in order to fill the void that is missing. The void that's currently the grounded 350s. So
it's not doing much for the brand image either, flying these naked 330s around the place.
That's right. Yeah.
No, absolutely not. Question from. I'll just change that graphic. I always forget to do that. Rob Brown Plainsport says, "Is that particular Qatar 350 still on the ground in Shannon?" I don't know myself if it's still in Shannon or not. I thought the issue was actually in Qatar itself, but if it was in Shannon that they found it, because I think they were obviously painting or things like that and found this issue, I don't know. If somebody does know, let us know.
I don't know either, I'm afraid.
No, I'm not sure either.
Hopefully we're at a loss as to whether.
I think they were grounding them as they were going in for the maintenance and what have you, and rather than grounding every single one of them and testing every single one of them, they were grounding them as they found the problems, because not all of them had the problems. A lot of them had been painted by different paint shops and things like that. So, and there's been no issue with them. So it's just finding the ones that were painted from that particular place, for instance, and inspecting them. But like I said, the saga rumbles on, and we'll see what happens. But I think if Airbus have a problem, I think they need to resolve it, because they stand to lose a massive order of these freighters as well, don't they? Because I'm sure. Yeah, that is a massive order, isn't it, from Qatar?
That's the thing, especially because I think obviously the heavy reliance at the moment on airlines wanting to buy the 350 is that Airbus might sort of think, well, actually, this could do well as a freighter, and that's why they're sort of shifting it around at the moment to try and go, are you interested? And obviously the issues with Qatar, and as Ian mentioned, they don't really want to be touching the A350 until there is a fix for the issue that's ongoing. Now, how quickly that will get resolved? I mean, at the time that we mentioned it weeks ago, we were unsure then, and at the moment it's still unsolved now. So it's literally a case of you got to sit and wait and see what happens whilst Airbus tries to throw out a potential freighter version of the 350 and trying to aim it at the airlines that are very good at, that have committed themselves to the A350, like Qatar, like literally, there'll be loads of people, and of course they got to try and convince Qantas as well that want to buy the 350 for the Project Sunrise flights as well. So it's a tricky time for Airbus and stuff to try and work out what's actually gone wrong.
Yeah,
but hopefully
it's an unfortunate one, because it's a very good product. Other than the paint, it's a beautiful plane, but it's a PR disaster, isn't it? That one of their main customers is having these troubles with it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they need to resolve it pretty quick, don't they? And I know Airbus are staying quite tight-lipped about it. They've had, plenty of people looking at it and trying to find out what the problem is and what have you, and they're just not saying anything. So,
I don't know if you saw this earlier, but Marco Barrett obviously picked up on your UK safety aviation people sounding legit.
UK safety aviation. I didn't say UK safety aviation people. I never mentioned UK. It was European. It was the it was the European. I had it written down. It was the European safety aviation people. Yeah, the European Union Aviation Safety Agency for evaluation. Airbus, blah blah blah, and it demonstrated there was there's no airworthiness impact.
Well, that's you told then, Marco. Learn your lesson.
That's it. Round money in Preston,
Yeah. Aye, Norfolk border. I'll come get you. Rob Brown Planespoint says, wonders of Google. The Qatar A350 was flown from Shannon to Airbus in Toulouse for them to investigate further. So I imagine they probably flew that at a lower altitude sort of thing, just in case of any issues and things like that. Now I've been waiting for this opportunity like the whole evening, because we're gonna probably spend, I think, the rest of the show until we start wrapping up talking about one of the funniest stories I've ever read in my entire life. When I first heard about this, I could not stop laughing. I haven't stopped laughing. Reading it from different websites and approaching it differently, and writing different things about it. And if you haven't seen this news piece like this week, without offending anybody, you've probably been living in under a rock or something, because it is.
Would have been a safe place to live.
Yeah, it is the story of a man in his garden on the approach to Heathrow in Windsor, who got dumped on, quite literally, by a plane that came in from I think you said Bangladesh, wasn't it? We said.
Yeah, I believe it came from Chittagong.
I don't think that's how it's pronounced. Oh dear.
CHITTAGONG. Chittagong.
I've got nothing for that. I've literally got nothing for that.
So next week on CBBS, we'll be talking about.
Oh man. But honest to God, I was reading this. I'm going to bring it up because there's so many different interpretations of this, and I think that for me, the BBC have got this properly spot on. It's so funny. It's so funny. So for anybody that didn't know, a man and his garden was splattered in a very unpleasant way when human waste was dropped from a plane. I'm going to try and get through this without laughing. But it's going to be so difficult. Speaking to the Royal Borough of Windsor and Maidenhead's Aviation Forum, Councillor Karen Davis said she was horrified to hear of the incident. She explained how his whole garden and garden umbrellas and him were all covered. Oh my God! Oh dearie me. Anyway. Oh, Jesus. Right. The dumping happened fairly centrally to Windsor in mid-July. So it didn't happen this week. It was a sort of a mid-July thing, but it's only just come out sort of thing. Plain toilets store sewage in special tanks, but their contents are normally disposed of once the plane has landed. The councillor of Clewar East told the meeting she was contacted by a constituent over the dreadful episode. I know a number of incidents happen every year with frozen sewage from planes, but this wasn't frozen and his whole garden was splattered in a very unpleasant way. He was out in the garden at the time, so a really horrible experience. She added, hopefully it never happens again to any of our residents. John Bowden, the councillor of Eton and Castle, called it a 1 in a billion chance. He suggested the warm weather meant the excrement could have come out as a more fluidy item. Oh no! Oh my god! Why would you even say that? Like, Whitfield Parish Councillor Jeff Paxton, who has worked at airports for 40 odd years, called the incident very rare and one he had not seen in a long time. He said we used to have problems with blue ice, which is frozen human waste and disinfectant on arrivals, but that was because those toilets used to leak. Vacuum toilets in modern aircraft. I can't believe we're talking about toilets, but there you go. Vacuum toilets on modern aircraft were much more secure, he explained. However, when there was less pressure below 6,000 feet, it could well be something that came out of the vent at low altitude. And the absolute stonker, right, the absolute stonker of a line that the BBC have decided to blow up is that he had to take it on the chin. I'm fairly certain that the BBC know what they're doing when they're writing this, because, honest to God, I've read like different websites and things like that about this particular story, and they're not even half as funny as what the BBC have written. Resident Andrew Hall, who was present at the virtual meeting, said water companies will find millions when discharging sewage into rivers, and when an aircraft dispatches it onto people's heads, I think that's more heinous, frankly. Ms. Davis said that the resident had decided not to pursue an insurance claim, which he must have felt crap after. Obviously, he wasn't going to do that for the sake of a couple of garden umbrellas in terms of bumping up his premium, so he just had to sort of take it on the chin. Oh my God. And then we have the name of the airline has not been shared with the BBC, though Miss Davies says it was based a very long way away from here.
Bangladesh, like I said.
Bangladesh, yeah. So we know it, but the BBC don't. She added that the resident contacted the airline, which denied its plane was in the area, but later confirmed when the resident was able to identify the aircraft via a route tracking app. So Flight Radar 24, most likely.
Well, there's definitely been days of my life where I feel like I've been shat on from a great height, but that's taking it to a whole new level, isn't it?
I just can't imagine, you imagine sitting out, doing something in your garden sort of thing, plane goes over, and just next thing you know, you'll just get splattered on by human waste. Oh, dude. That is just, you could not be any more unfortunate to be crapped on. I'm pretty sure the pilot must have been an old World War II plane, just thought he was a Lancaster trying to drop a bomb and
he dropped plenty of bombs. That's the problem.
Yeah. I don't think they were bombs, were they? Because they were more fluidy.
Yeah. Liquid bombs, sort of thing. I totally agree with this comment from. If we can try and get him on, if we can try and get that guy on just to tell us his experience, that'd be fantastic.
We'd be laughing at him.
Yeah, we just
off.
Yeah.
And he's from Windsor.
Yeah, that's true. Oh my God! I mean, could you imagine? I can't fathom the idea of just having that bad of luck that you are just literally outside and your garden umbrellas get crapped on.
Yeah,
and it's not by birds.
I like to think it was Prince Charles in the castle.
I mean, I was thinking that when we heard the story and things like that, and I'm thinking, I mean, if your plane's coming in at that kind of speed now, according to physics and stuff like that, if an event like that was to happen, it wouldn't be just one guy, would it? I mean, the street would have had it, and a few other gardens would have had it as well, wouldn't they? Unless it was just like you said, unless he was an old war pilot and he was very specific.
Quite literally carpet bombed.
Carpet bombed in, yeah.
Just carpet bombed with human excrement.
Yeah. A disgruntled passenger from years ago, so I'll have him one day. Find out.
Or at least Marco Barrett is thinking economically by saying at least it would have been good for the plants.
That's it. Yeah, but he's got best roses in Windsor now, hasn't he?
Yeah. Don't eat his vegetables at the show next year, though.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. We're taking that to the Chelsea Garden Show. Was it the Chelsea Flower Show or something?
Yeah, that's it, yeah.
Oh, how'd you grow these? Well, you don't want to know.
Yeah. These marrows smell of Vindaloo.
Yeah. Oh, fat Les.
Yeah.
Rob Brown Plains Point says warm weather made it more fluidy, and I think that's the line that probably got him as well.
Absolutely.
I swear. I mean, I've read funny stories before about things that have happened, like for like planes maybe like dumping fuel onto things, but for somebody to get absolutely like dumped on like this, is the funniest thing I think I've read for a long time. It would take some beating, I know that much, but I'm just trying to put myself in his shoes, and I'm just trying to imagine.
No, I wouldn't.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
Be squelching, wouldn't they?
Well, apart from the squelch and the oh god, you know, just I mean, did he look up and just have it hit him, or did he get hit in the back of the head with it?
I like to think he was a spiritualist sitting around going, Jesus, show me a sign you're there, and then looking up.
Yeah, yeah. Praise, there better be a God. Whoosh. I'm sort of thinking to turn it into a bit of a poll and just find out how he may have got hit. Like option 1, did he get hit in the back of the head? 2, did he literally take it on the chin? And 3, oh my god. But I just think this is the funniest thing I've read, and if it is a Bangladeshi plane, God help him.
Well, I told you that city where it's from.
Yeah, you did indeed. Rob Brown Plains Point says, "Watch out for skid marks," which ultimately is probably his new nickname now. Right, skid marks. Oh my god! Honestly, it is. It's
what was the gentleman's name again? Who got the load?
I don't think they specified who it is. They just say that a man. They probably wanted to protect his identity because
I was going to Twitter search him to see if we could lively announce that we were going to have him on the show next week.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, dear. Dropping in from next week. Goodness me. I can't find anything in terms of like his name and stuff, but I think that was literally just to protect the fact that he would have the absolute. You know what? It's a no holds barred kind of podcast, and we're kind of in a relaxed mood today. So if anyone's offended, you don't have to watch, but taking the absolute piss like about the whole thing. So he must sort of if he hadn't have bought a lottery ticket that day, then he probably missed out on millions. It probably was his lucky day.
I'm hoping his name was Mr. Brown. That would have rounded it off nicely.
Yeah. Here we go. Rob Brown Plain Spotting's got his name. It's Mr. Go for a Dump from Windsor. Is next week's guest. That's a cracking name. That is. Go for a dump. Or Anita Poop. I'll tell you what, let's do that. Right. Anyone that's got any funny, crap related names, like chuck them into the chat so we can bring them onto the stream. Rob Brown Plain Spotting has started that, and I've carried it on with Anita Poo or Anita Poop. So let's be childish for a minute and just if you've got any funny crappy names like that, just chuck them in the chat and we'll get them onto the screen there. But it would be funny if we could get him on the show and just explain about everything. We could even put like a weird voice over him if he just wanted to stay like
pixelate his face.
Pixelate his face. Yeah. So what happened when the poo came down and smacked you in the back of the head? Well, it wasn't great, but at least I won first prize at the Chelsea Flower Show with a whopping great big melon called Fat Les. Oh my goodness me! Anyone got anything to add on this story? Because this is just absolute gold.
If I don't cough.
There's another one. Lou Disaster. Very good. Very good. Get them in. Get your toilet-related names into us, because that's what we're doing this evening, apparently, now. Is talking about that. we'll keep getting the names in. We'll show them up, but we'll sort of swiftly move on to sort of. I can hear the poster about to go again. And no, you don't. Anyway, so apart from obviously everything that we've mentioned, there's not been too much in terms of what's been happening during the week. Normally, quite a bit's been happening, but what we did say literally anything. We did say literally anything. So, go on, Ian, you're first.
I'd probably say a good triple ply Andrex with an aloe vera thing going on, or a shea butter, which is quite a nice, pleasant smell.
Oh dear! I don't know what this podcast has become. I really don't.
Smothering Heights by Kate Bush.
We
haven't gone round yet. Go on, Steve. What's your favourite toilet roll?
Oh, I haven't really put much thought into it, but where I panicked by so much last year, I'm still getting through the Tesco's Finest stuff that has a slight hint of rosemary and lavender. So that's probably my favourite at the moment.
Okay, I've also now got a new favourite name.
Yeah,
which is
Raining Cack.
Raining Cack. Oh my god! I swear this is an aviation related podcast. It's not anything else, but this is too funny to pass up on.
Do you remember the ISIL stuff? It used to be like tracing paper. You used to get it at school, didn't you?
Oh god!
Yeah, remember that?
Yeah,
that was evil. That.
Yeah, give you a paper cut.
Anything like a little, bit like a free, 3-ply sort of thing is good enough, and that'll do for me. But yeah.
Well, old matey boy in his garden, he would have killed for one sheet rather than a whole host of it.
Did you think one sheet did plenty on that day?
I think it was more than that, weren't it?
I would say more than that. One sheet definitely weren't plenty, you lying so-and-so.
Yeah.
Goodness me. But yeah, I think that's just hilarious, and I just think, I just think the whole thing is it's so funny. I do. I think the whole thing is it's so funny. If anyone's got any like really funny like aviation related stories and stuff, like get them into us as well, because I think that would be quite interesting. But yeah, like I said, not too much has happened this week in terms of sort of news, apart from obviously flights, flight announcements and things like that. So really, it's been sort of a bit of a quiet week, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, we've got the new Flybe livery that's appeared, hasn't it, in Germany? I think it were the new on the Q400. That's a nice. That was nice to see during the week.
Oh, that's it. Yeah, we completely forgot about that, which was the new Flybe livery. So for those that might not know, there was a picture that went up. I think it went onto Twitter first, and then sort of made its rounds on sort of every other social media platform of the Flybe 2.0 resurrection getting closer and closer now, because they've painted one of the old Dash 8s that were in the original Flybe fleet into brand new colours. And the colours are very, very sharp. I'm just going to get a picture so at least I can share it. But yeah, I think we think that the livery is very smart, don't we?
I like it. Yeah, it looks really, really nice. Yeah, I mean, it's no purple, is it? Like the old Q400s, but it is a lovely livery. Yeah, I like it.
It's I want to say it's kind of like toned down a bit. I'm literally trying to find.
It is compared to the old ones, isn't it? But
it's new and fresh, but it does keep.
Oh, Steve's froze.
The Flybe identical and whatever you can tell it's a Flybe, but it is not fresh and sort of times.
Yeah, they've kept the identity, haven't they, with the colour and things like that.
absolutely.
it's nice. Yeah, I like it.
I think they've only got that one at the moment to get their airworthiness certificate sorted out. So that's why they've got that one painted up and ready to go, and not actually announced everything just yet.
No, it's coming though. I think, innit? I mean, I wouldn't imagine this year now, but I'll probably say before, I don't know, mid-spring next year, perhaps something like that, early summer.
I would say so.
Yeah,
I would say so.
Yeah, definitely.
Well,
It's
nice.
I'll just bring it up on the screen now, so at least we can get it out there for everyone to see. But there you go. So that is a drawing done by Marco Barrett that he's very kindly sent to me to use on this stream. That is the Flybe 2.0 livery. It is, I say, it's very simple. It keeps that purple from before, but it is literally all purple. So titles are now purple, engines are purple, and just the tail is purple. So it's basic, but it's basic that's done correctly. So there is actually colour to it.
I think it's instantly
it works
recognisable,
well.
isn't it?
Yeah, and it keeps obviously the
It
identity
seems to
from
work
before.
somehow.
Yeah, it keeps the identity from before as well. So like paying homage to the old Flybe.
Yeah.
With this, and the fact that they've painted it on one of the old Flybe -8s as well, which means obviously means that I think what they're doing is they're probably going to look into becoming sort of another sort of -8 operator by the sounds of it.
I hope so.
And get them sort of flying
Well,
around.
I think Exeter and Southampton should be rightly excited by the prospect of that coming back.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, like I say, they were huge
Like they
down
choose to
here.
go back to their original hub.
That's it. Yeah. So they were huge down here in the southwest and stuff. And like I said, it excuse me, it allowed people from, let's say, down here to be able to connect to places in London or sort of anywhere else in the country in order to connect onto other flights. So that's pretty much what Flybe's role was to connect, connect and things like that. And for them to have gone hit off, we mentioned this before, but they obviously hit the aviation side of things down here in the southwest a lot harder than probably anywhere else, because I say it's very desolate in terms of ways to get up the country, sort of thing. And the news of them coming back is massive, because then that void will then be filled. Like multiple airlines have tried to fill that void and just haven't been able to do it. So hopefully Flybe 2.0 will be able to pick up from where the old Flybe left off, and then hopefully be around again for a long time, like the old ones. So
yeah, I'd like to.
I suppose they can learn from their mistakes as well, of course, and hopefully be more successful this time around.
I think they need to pick their investors wisely, don't they? To be honest, I think they're a bit.
I don't think they'll be going to Richard Branson anytime soon.
No, already store bought.
No, definitely not.
Definitely
not.
No.
Definitely not. But so let us know, like I say, what you think of the livery as well in the that's right. Livery in the chat as well, and let us know what you think of this one. And like I say, any questions, we are here and for the next however long. We're going to do sort of something slightly off topic again in a bit as well, before we sort of begin to wrap up the show, and before we sort of go over everything that's coming up on the show over the next couple of weeks. But yeah, so that's the Flybe livery. So it's on its way. I would imagine, as like you said, Ian, it's probably something to do with next year, I would say.
Yeah, definitely. But they were always recognisable when they flew over as well, because even if they were flying at, I don't know, between 10 and 15,000 feet, you'd hear them coming, but you could never see them. They were just like a little tiny dot, weren't they?
Yeah.
But you could never, the noise of them was unmistakable.
No.
Definitely.
Yeah. So
we used to see it see him very regularly at Southampton when I was at work on there Wednesdays or whatever. You'd always see him going in and out,
Yeah.
as well as the Embraer jets as well. They had.
Yeah, it's hopefully they'll make as big an impact as they did before with the the old Flyby when they were around and the impact that they had and everything else like that. So fingers crossed.
I just thought there's enough room in market for them and Logan Air because they're going to be competing over the same flights, aren't they? I would imagine. So
yeah,
hopefully it's not going to it's not going to damage anybody, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally. Do you know what? I think I need more of that. I give up with this stuff. I really do. That can go down there for now because I'm not putting that back up. Anyway, so that'll make the highlight reel. But yeah, so let's sort of discuss sort of what's coming up over the next next few weeks and that. So next week is obviously Halloween. We are going to be here. It is also going to be the last time that we do this on a Sunday because we are moving it to during the week. We are probably going to be looking at maybe a Wednesday. I think that's what's best for us all, isn't it? Is technically like a Wednesday. So that's what we're going to probably do is move out of our regular Sunday slots. It also frees up my time to be able to kind of do a lot more than I'm able to. And before I do go on, there is a question in there. If Ian, if you'd like to just ask Steve that question.
Hey, Steve, where can I buy your super detailed blue tack model plane from?
Yeah, have you still got it, or have you actually mashed it back up again?
Hang on. Come back to me in like 2 minutes. Just talk amongst yourself for a second.
Right, you do what you got to. I'm going to take you off the screen for a second.
Hey,
he'll come back. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so we're moving out of our Sunday slot, and we're going to go into during the week. It's going to free up more of my time, more like Ian's time. It's easier for everybody. I've got personal things I need to be doing as well, and sort of attending to a bit more. Certain people know what they are, and obviously, like I say, weekends can be freed up for anything else, really, especially for you, Ian, as well, isn't it? So during the week, it just works for us.
Yeah, definitely.
We're going to move the time as well from 7 o'clock to 7:30 after next week. So we're going to be doing that as well. If we do end up streaming at a weekend, or we stream, what we're deciding to do, and we announced this last week, is we are looking for people to join us on a new project that we're doing, which is to sort of we're bringing in a style of game show, which is going to be a lot of fun. We've, like I said last week, we've done a run through. Steve is ready. There you go. That does not look like a plane.
I thought it was someone led on the back.
I was going to say that's a very happy man.
To answer your question, answer the question, what you could probably do is buy some blue tack and sort your own out, rather than rely on me to make you anything good.
That's it. We don't just do podcasts here; we also give consumer advice.
Yeah.
Goodness me. But no, so we got the project of bringing a new game show, and I think Marco that's a bit generous. I think
he knows his planes.
Yeah, I'm not sure you do though.
Yeah, totally agree.
But no, so we are bringing a style of game show, and we are looking for people to join us in doing this. We did a run through a couple of weeks ago. We're finding the right time to bring this in, and we're getting closer to that time of doing it. We need people that want to come on and have their knowledge tested about planes, and just basically want to just have a bit of fun with it. So we got that to look forward to. Of course, the moving of the slots as well to a Wednesday night. So Ian's just disappearing quickly, so it's just me and Steve. So yeah, we're looking forward to the game show style of things, aren't we?
The run through we did the other week was properly good laugh, and I'd encourage you to come and join in. Like, it doesn't matter if you haven't got an encyclopedic knowledge of aviation, you'll still have a good time of it, and it'll just be good fun. You won't be judged for not knowing absolutely everything. So
no, it is a lot of
fully
fun.
Encourage you to come on.
Yeah, it is a lot of fun. It is something that, like I say, it's something that I've wanted to bring in for a while, and the fact that we've done the run through and we just were falling over, just laughing so much because some of the things that we were doing were so funny, like literally so funny. So yeah, if anyone is interested, I know a couple people are, so we're bearing them in mind. But yeah, if anybody is interested, just pop us a message on any of the social medias, which you can find in the link description. I'd say link below, description below. And yeah, let us know if you want to do it. We were saying, obviously, as you were making the plane, the time slot change and day change will be a lot easier for us all, I guess, won't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Like, it's a good thing. I enjoy every minute of it, but there is a degree of sort of time consuming aspect to it. So it'd just be nice. Well, like people like yourself, you see your friends, your family at the weekend and that, and it will just open that up to be able to do that, and the show won't suffer for it. You'll get exactly the same show, just something to look forward to midweek rather than Sunday night and whatever.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so we've got that to look forward to. Now that he's back, we'll just go here. Ian, do you want to just grab those models that we showed last week? Because we'll mention about...
Yeah, well, I've got the rear side of me, so that's quite handy.
So we've got 3 of these British Airways 4. We are giving away all 4. There we go. So there's going to be 4 lucky winners.
I think 7878s, aren't they? Yeah. 7878s. They're still sellotaped up.
Yeah, so not open.
I can't get
they
them
are
in.
literally fresh in the box and that.
Yeah.
We got 4 of those to give away, which we're going to be announcing a giveaway this week on our social medias. That's what they look like out of the box. They are very good.
They're decent, aren't they?
Yeah, they are in decent
with the.
I do have one criticism though. You have put the tail stabilizers the wrong way round.
No, they're not.
They're supposed to point like upwards, slightly upwards.
No, I think I've had this issue with this before. Hang on a minute.
Well, he does that.
There's 3 on offer because he's about to snap one in a rage.
Talk amongst yourselves.
That's it. Yeah. I mean, no.
No, I'll tell you what. It looks all right.
Oh, we'll leave it. People have preferences, but
if you get that one, it's a special edition. It looks
like your bikes now, doesn't it? On Flight Sim.
Yeah, it does.
But no, we got four of these to give away. We are going to announce the giveaway probably.
I don't know how that comes off.
Tomorrow.
I thought it was one piece. That
we'll let him fiddle. We're gonna. We are going to, we're going to announce the giveaway tomorrow and how to enter and how you can be with a chance. Like I say, there are 4 to give away, 4 of these models to give away. So there will be 4 lucky winners. And then we will also announce the winner next week on the show live. Anyway, we'll take him off the screen for now. But yeah, so giveaway tomorrow evening. Keep an eye on all of our social medias, which are literally down here, to sort of find out how to enter and how to win. He literally is still. I can see him. He's like literally still fiddling with it. And by fiddling with it, I mean he's fiddling with the model plane, not.
Yeah, it's not that kind of show.
It really isn't.
Right, I'm good. I'm all good now.
There we go.
Thanks to Michael Barrett there, telling me to take the rudder off first.
There.
You won't think I met model airplanes.
You wouldn't think it.
Would you? No.
Absolutely wouldn't think it.
I need instructions. Anyway, that's it anyway. So
good. So to basically just to quickly summarise, we're moving time and we're moving day. We got game show to come in the next couple of weeks or so, and we got the giveaway, which we'll announce tomorrow on our social medias, and we'll probably give these away as well at some point as well, but not just yet.
Yeah, I've got 4 of the British Airways and 1 of the Virgin Atlantic.
Lovely.
I mean, yeah, they're all right. They're all right for freebies, aren't they?
Yes. So change the date, game show coming, and giveaway tomorrow evening. So keep an eye on the social medias for that. Now, we want to take a bit of time as we sort of begin to kind of wrap the show up to sort of address something that we've sort of had bit concerns about, really. I know, obviously, you two have, so we're going to address it in the podcast tonight. I have not been well this last week, and by that I mean my mental health has been through the roof, that I can't seem to get a hold of it. Now, obviously, no one will know the fact that that's been the case this week, because whatever. But obviously, you two have experienced the fact that I've been very quiet, like I'm not normally quiet, and things like that. And I kind of wanted to take the opportunity now at the end of the show to kind of talk about, I did it before, about maybe 15 odd episodes ago, at the start of the show, but I wanted to kind of do it at the end of the show, because whilst we're here, we are having fun, we are having a good giggle about, people getting shat on by aircraft, and we're throwing in silly puns and stuff. That's what we do. But obviously, anybody that doesn't know us personally, you don't see what happens on the outside and away from the show. And for me, I do suffer with that kind of thing, and I have suffered big time this week. Huge. Like, I haven't broken down this much in my life, apart from the last week or so. So I kind of just wanted to take the opportunity to kind of thank a lot of people, including, I'm not going to do it now because I'm that one that way. So Steve and Ian as well, because as much as I've been quiet this week with them because of the whole suffering and things like that, and I know there are people that are watching that probably have the same issues as well. So this goes out to you as well. If you surround yourself with the best people, then you've got nothing to kind of let's say fear, or nothing to kind of be too concerned about, because surrounding yourself with the right people is enough for you to feel better. And without the likes of Ian, Steve, I can literally go on and on and on. Then I don't know where I would be. So so the concern from a lot of people and things like that notice any change and whatever is huge. And like I said, I've not felt this low for a long time, like years. But this week has been a really tough week for me. And for anybody that may have had a tough week as well, I kind of want this message to go out to you as well, that things do get better, and things do pick up, and things do start to ease off. And, like I said, if you surround yourself with the right people, or you surround yourself with the right person, at least, and that person does everything they can for you, which, they do. You know exactly who you are. Then, the world all of a sudden becomes a better place. And like I said, I know you two have had your concerns for me this week as well, which we're going to be open and honest about it on the show here before we start to wrap things up. You have shown concern this week, because I have been very, very quiet.
Yeah, no, I think when it comes to mental health issues and that, you need to treat it like a physical illness. If you feel it coming on, you need to talk to someone, go to your doctor. Like, there's no point for trying to struggle on, because you wouldn't do it with a physical illness. So I'd encourage anyone who's watching or listening back who's of that mindset that it's not going away to go and get help. And like Tom says, talk to your friends and that. Don't jar it up, because it will get worse and worse.
Yeah, I know for a lot of people it is a very difficult subject to talk about. I know it's very I mean, some parts of it can be very like taboo in terms of what might have actually happened, or whether somebody just might not want to open up to anybody, or like I say, someone could have just had really something really shocking happen to them, and then can't quite sort of fathom what's happened, and then all of a sudden just everything sort of goes downhill, sort of thing. But like I said, if you surround yourself with the right people and the right person as well, like I said, things do start picking up and that. So the message from all of us really is it's only a short message, but the message from us all is if you are suffering and you are dealing with demons and mental health, and you've had bad things that have happened to you, whether it's this week or at any point in your life, sort of thing, talk to somebody about it, because there ain't nothing worse than having to hold it in. And by holding it in, you're only going to be, it's only going to be eating you even more on the inside, and it will make you feel worse and everything else. So do go and speak to somebody. If you've got somebody that you are near and dear to, or somebody that you love, or somebody that is a best friend, etc. Somebody you can rely on is the main thing. Speak to them and open up to them and tell them everything, because the wonders it can do for you is amazing. And to echo a statement that I said on that show before, when I mentioned it at the beginning of whichever episode it was, you're not alone. You're not alone in any of it. And like I said, if you do surround yourself with the right people, it lifts not just the whole weight off your shoulders, but it also starts to lift you as a person. So so from all of us, really, like if you are suffering and stuff, do talk to somebody. You can talk to us. Like I say, we've always said that our inbox is always open for anybody that might sort of want to chat and stuff. We're not just here to present the show and then that's it. We do like to kind of chat with people, and everything else. So if anybody does suffer and just needs somebody to sort of confide in, our inboxes are open as well. So yeah, I think that's pretty much the message. I don't want to sort of drag it out for too long, but that's kind of the message that we're giving off here is,
I mean, there's also plenty of help online as well. You don't necessarily have to just make that first phone call or whatever. It could be a simple text to. There's particularly, I mean, with men don't tend to talk about things and try and bottle it up a lot more. And I think just by doing a quick Google search and things like that, you can find places like Mind and there's other like local groups as well. I know we have one up here in Preston where it's I forget the name of it now. I did used to follow it. And it's like a local group of guys, and they've started a football team together and things like that. And they have like coffee mornings and do things what you'd expect, what you see women do. They have coffee mornings and they go and meet up and have a pint or whatever, and they have a chit chat and what have you. And there are local groups like that. If you search them up on even Facebook and things like that. But there is plenty of help online as well. And you don't have to pick the phone up initially and make that first call. You can do it, text messaging. It's always a little bit easier.
Yeah, absolutely. So, plenty of help online.
Absolutely,
At the same time, we are all here. I've just run through the social medias if anybody feels like they need a chat. And yeah, here you go.
That's right. In a world where you can be anything, be kind.
That's it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So in a world where, as you said, in a world where you can be anything, be kind. That's the the best way to put it for anybody. So yeah.
And because it isn't a physical illness as well, it just tends to be sort of brushed over. I mean, you can't. None of you two can see what's going on inside my head, nor I can see what's going on inside your head. If you had a broken arm or a broken leg, you'd see a plaster cast or something. And it's through experience. It's such an underfunded part of the health service, and they're constantly cutting back all the time. And I know people like Cams who deal with like teenage kids and things like that. they've got. I know they've got people. There was a news report on the other morning saying they've got kids at 14 and 15-year-old having to wait nearly 12 months to get an appointment to see someone who can deal with these issues, and it's been made a lot worse through the lockdown and God knows what else, and it's just, I don't know. You see Rishi Sunak and you see Boris Johnson acting Gorton being idiots on television and throwing money here, left, right, and centre, but they're just avoiding the issues. And it's going to come a point where it can't be avoided much longer, because it's going to have to be dealt with, because it's a tsunami, I think, waiting to happen, and I think it is going to happen.
Absolutely.
I really do.
So so to kind of end, like I said, we don't want to drag this out too long, because, like I say, we are, it is an aviation podcast, but you can't ignore this sort of thing,
Absolutely not.
especially if you go through it yourself. So, like I said, to end this sort of little part of it, the best way to say it is literally, in a world where you can be anything, be kind.
Yeah.
I would just say well done, Tom, for chatting about it and talking about it. It couldn't be so a massive kudos, and if it helps one person who's watched this, and absolutely credit to you.
Yeah, definitely.
That's the thing. That's the thing as well. It's I don't mind like admitting to people that I don't know that are watching that that I do suffer, and like I say, it's especially for you two that have had to kind of endure panics and things like that this week and things like that, because I've been maybe quiet from whatever. If it helps out somebody, that's kind of what we're here for. Is we are literally, we're not, like I said, we're not here to just present a show. We're not here to just talk bollocks for an hour and a half sort of thing.
You speak for yourself.
Hold on a second.
Bye.
I will. So, but no, we're not here to just chat and whatever. We are literally here to try and put a message across for everybody, because everybody has their own issues. Everyone's got different issues that maybe not everyone knows about, but we are literally here to give out a message of, basically what Marco Barrett said. That's a line that we're probably going to use moving forward. Is in a world where you can be anything, be kind.
Definitely keep that one. Yeah. It's just a bit of it's a bit of light relief, and it's just a bit of entertainment, isn't it? Just for an hour and a half each week, it's you can just escape in it, can't you? And have a good chit chat and stuff, and have a bit of a laugh, and you it's just an escape, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of what it is. So hopefully this will have made a lot of, hopefully for anybody that's listening or things like that are sort of going through any issues and stuff, hopefully this is kind of, helped out in a way. It is, I know it's off topic for people, and people are like, it's supposed to be this, that, but it's not a message that you can ignore, sort of thing. So, thank you to Marco Barrett for that very nice comment there. And Rob Brown Plain Sport says, we might talk guff on Sunday night, but we are community, so fair play and kudos. So big thank you to everybody. Like I said, inboxes are open. Anybody that suffers or whatever, I will run through as we do shout outs and stuff. The social medias again, and sort of go from there. But we are going to sort of begin to wrap the show up. Like I said, we are doing a show next week for Halloween. We're not dressing up. The idea was to do so. But
I've already got my mask on, Tom. We're all good.
Ooh. You need to join us. It'll be spooktacular.
Yeah. We'll bring it in. But so the idea was to potentially dress up, but I think just because it's for fun. But yeah, we'll present it in the way that we are, and just change a few things, because that's what we're going to do. That's how we're going to do it. So topic wise, we're not sure yet. We've got a couple of ideas. We're going to just talk about it when we go off air in a second, and sort of have a think about sort of what we're going to be doing for next week's show. I did miss a comment actually when we were talking about the game show, and Rob Brown Planes Waiting says, "Is there a jar of chutney on offer for the winner?"
Hey, I'll personally post it myself.
There you go. So if that's not convincing enough for you to join us on the game show, then I don't know. I don't know what it is.
Then again, I don't wish to blow me on trumpet, but I do know me on address. So,
and you never know. It might be Ian's personal chutney from his own personal channel.
Ooh.
As long as it's not a Windsor, jar.
As long as it's not in Windsor,
yeah. Ian's Windsor's spectacular.
Yeah. the Windsor chutney. Now there's a thing.
Yeah, the Windsor Chutney channel. There you go.
The Windsor Chutney. Yeah.
The Windsor Chutney channel.
Inspired by Bangladesh Airlines. Yeah.
That's it. I'm never going to get over that story. That's too funny. It's too funny. But no. So what we are going to do, we are going to begin to wrap everything up here now. But what we want you to do is we want you to shout out people. Now we say this, and sometimes people don't do it and things like that, but which are absolutely fine. You don't have to, but I want people to give a shout out to anybody that might be going through hell at the moment, just to kind of potentially perk their day up. So if anybody does know anybody, whether it's their friends or family or whatever, throw that shout out into the chat, and we'll show it while we do our shout outs as well. Or if you just want to shout out anybody, just get in the chat and we'll get it sort of shown on the screen. We'll start with Steve as per normal because we don't have a guest, obviously. So, Steve, you will go first for the shout outs.
Okay. First of all, anyone who's watched and joined in with the comments tonight, like always appreciate it. And obviously, you make the show. Without you, we wouldn't have a show. To Ian as well, like always good company. And finally, Tom, just well done, mate, for getting out there. You should be proud of yourself and that. So good on you.
Thank you. That means a lot. It means a lot. Ian, over to you.
Yep. Just really to reiterate what Steve just said, Tom. Well done for you for bringing the subject up. We know it's quite a taboo subject amongst men, particularly, and it's nice that somebody can bring it up and talk really openly about it as well. It is important, and it does spread the message. And I think it like you said, Tom, if one person's watching this and acts upon it, and then that's absolutely fantastic, isn't it? So well done to you, Tom. There's a couple of messages as well. There's one from Jenny French there. She doesn't normally say much, but she says you guys are great, particularly Ian, and another amazing show as always. Cheers, Jenny. Martin Waldridge, important message and well said. So everyone's saying the same kinds of things. So yeah, well done, Tom. Absolutely fantastic.
Thank you.
Big shout out to Steve as well for being co-host as well. He always does a good job and brings a bit of humour to the show and things like that. So it's always a good laugh. And thanks to everybody who's been commenting tonight and who's been listening in. And like Marco says, a shout out to you three. Always putting out great shows. Definitely the highlights of my week. I would suggest he gets out more. No, just joking. Fantastic, Marco.
We're trying to sell the product as well at the same time, right?
Yeah, a blast as always, lads. Nice one. A busy few weeks ahead with the upcoming COP26. I noticed one of the US, what did they call them? Went into Newquay today, didn't it? One of the 737s.
I don't know, did it?
Yeah, it went into Newquay earlier on this morning. I'm sure it did. Yeah, it was all over Facebook, weren't it?
I don't know. I've not looked on Facebook.
Oh, have you not? Right. Yeah. One of the US, I think it was US Navy, somebody had put on them. I'm sure Rob's watching the movements quite closely. There you go. The USC 14 to Newquay this morning. Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah. So there's nothing like a climate conference for bringing all the airplanes in, is there?
G7, baby.
Yeah.
Take that, Greta Thunberg, whatever your name is. Go back to school as well.
Yeah.
You don't belong on the streets. So I'll give some shout outs as well. Firstly, everybody that's been watching this evening, it's been obviously a bit of a different show, but we enjoy doing these sort of chit chats and things. They don't necessarily have to have topics and things like that. Whether it's just going through the news and things like that, we enjoy doing them. So
Yeah,
big thank you to
absolutely.
everybody that's been watching. I will be very sort of I will be very sort of. I can't think of what the word is. Like, I can't. Do you know what? I can't think of what the word is. Let's just go with. We'll go cheesy. We'll go with cheesy. Screw it. We'll go with cheesy. But we love the people that watch us. We do. We love everybody that watches us. We love the fact that we have an audience. We have a regular, regular viewers and stuff. To shout out a few: Marco Barrett, Rob Brown, Plain Spotting. Recently, Martin Waldridge as well, watching us as well. There are a couple other people that do watch as well, but Grey Blue as well. Regular watcher, but because she has no choice.
No.
But yeah, so no, a big thank you. And, we love each and every one of you that continues to support the channel through pretty much everything that we are trying to do. So big sort of shout out to you lot. As I sort of echoed, or I'm going to echo what I mentioned earlier with Steve and Ian, sort of a joint shout out for the pair of you for the fact that you have been there this week for me, despite my issues and things like that. The concern and everything has been like overwhelming for me. So big thank you to you two. You two are like two of the best people I know. So yes, a big thank you to you. I'll go on, but I'll start otherwise. That's kind of the mindset I'm in. Is if I start going on and on, I'm going to start blubbering and literally blubbering. So so big thank you to you two. And obviously NHS workers and key workers around the world. I'll try not to do the old Cornish going ear like I did last. but yeah, not just in the UK, but all around the world for like I say, everyone's continued efforts in getting trying to find a way back to some sort of normality. It's sort of, I mean, I view it as like it's kind of there, but you have to be very wary at the same time. But yeah, so the continued efforts of everybody around the world, key workers, etc. Big thumbs up to you and a big shout out as well. And a lot of love sent your way, and also, of course, somebody else that's watching. Won't mention names because they know exactly who they are for also being there for me this week through difficult times, etc., etc. And a lot of love to you for putting up with the fact that I've moaned and issues and everything else. And you've been absolutely fantastic for me this week. So yeah, so thank you very much. You know who you are. That would do it then. That's for all the shout outs and stuff. Marco Barrett with one last sort of thing there, saying that he's from Bury. So there's not much to do at all. Off you go, Ian. This ain't no magic trick here.
Bury's all right, they've got a good market in Bury.
Yeah,
that's about it.
That's about fair enough. But yeah, so next week, last Sunday show before we move to the week, whether we're going to take a week off to do move it, or whether we just go straight into a midweek one where we'll decide and let you know by next week. Giveaway tomorrow, so don't forget that as well. We'll probably announce that tomorrow evening. We're not doing it on stream. We'll announce it on social medias, and then we'll reveal the 4 winners of the models of the British Airways 787-8s on next week's show. All that is left for us to do. Actually, no, tell a lie. We're going to push this one more time because I haven't shown the graphic for it yet. We're going to anyway. Last opportunity this week. 4 Pride t-shirts. These are for a very good cause, and we would love you to have one before they run out. Like I say, once Sunday hits, or midnight Sunday, they are not available anymore. And like I say, they are for a very, very, very good cause. So do consider buying one. Links to that are in the description below. got no words. Literally have no words. But yeah, do consider buying one. Like I said, they are for a very, very good cause. You can find the link in the description below. All that's left to do for us is to say a big thank you to everybody. And we are going to say our goodbyes as we sign off on another episode of the Departure Lounge podcast. It's been a lot of fun. Well, it's been a lot of fun. It's been a lot of fun tonight.
Yeah, no, it's decent.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Especially with getting crapped on, but I think that's the best one. I think we'll start asking each other. I think every week if we've been crapped on by a plane yet. But no, it's been a lot of fun this week, and hopefully you've all enjoyed it as well. So we are going to wrap it up, and we're going to say our goodbyes. So Steve, if you would like to say goodbye to those that are watching still.
Yep, cheerio everyone who's still watching, and if you happen to see me at 4:30 every evening at work, do come and say hello, and I'll more than happily say hello back to you.
That's how you do it. That's how you convince them to say hello.
There we go.
Also, fame gets to people in many different ways.
Oh yeah, Ricky, I'll get you an autograph.
Yeah, yeah. Me and Ian won't. No, that's fine. Ian, if you'd like to say goodbye to everybody.
Yeah, just take care of everybody. Have a fantastic week. And if you do need help, reach out for it. It's it's mega important. Also, I've just been buzzed off an Air 400. Yeah. I can still hear it now going over. Fantastic. It's heading down towards you, Marco. Oh, no, it's not. It might do. It might do. No, it's not. Right, goodbye. Yeah, goodbye, everyone.
Bit much information from Rob Brown Plane Spotting. Says he needs to check out and go for a dump. So nice one as always, lads. Stay safe and well.
If you're doing out your window into next door's garden, we'll put you on next week's show.
Yeah, well, no, if you do it out your next door, it'd be on the BBC, let alone getting you on the show.
Yeah.
We'll be asking what airline it's come from then. But no, apart from everyone said goodbye, so I'll say goodbye to everybody as well. Thank you so much for watching, and hopefully you guys can join us next week. Whatever we decide to do, still don't know yet, but we'll come up with something. It's going to be a lot of fun regardless, and just look after yourselves, as Ian said. If you need to chat, to anybody. Links to our social media is in the description below, or find somebody or a organization to talk to. And I was going to say something else, and then it's gone. So I'm just trying to think if I can remember. No. So no, do talk to somebody if you need to. Have a fantastic week, whatever you decide to do. And we will see you same time next week for our last Sunday show. Have a fantastic week, everybody, and we will see you next Sunday.
Bye.
Take it easy, everybody.
Bye-bye now.
Bye.
Bye-bye.